right, I want to return now to our top story, the Dow sell-off, the massive sort of Dow tumbling in the wake of that announcement we got at 12 noon today, President Trump's new tariffs on China. As the president signed off the plan, he teased ahead to potential future action. He said there's more to come potentially. His goal is to combat what he calls unfair trade practices, which has harmed the United States. Take a listen.
This is the first of many. This is number one, but this is the first of many.
All right, so you heard him there. This is number one, but this is the first of many. President Trump reiterated that he was basically doing something that should have been done many, many years ago. To discuss this, we've got our team of resident CNN trade experts, Patrick Gillespie and Paula Newton. So here's the thing, guys. I think a lot of people agree with the fact that China's intellectual property theft is certainly a problem, right? Both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, both agree on that point. But if that is the case, isn't there a better way to go about this?
That's exactly what Democrats and Republicans are saying. Is there a more targeted way we can go about this that will not cause so much harm to U.S. consumers? There's a lot of fear that Trump is going to target dozens of Chinese products with tariffs that could raise prices for consumers, cool spending, which is really the engine of the U.S. economy, and ultimately potentially cost jobs, Zane. So there's a lot of concern about the scope and breadth of these tariffs, and there's concern that the diagnosis is right, is the remedy right as well? That seems to be up in the air right now.
Right, so one of the ways that China could retaliate is, of course, with U.S. soybean products. That's one way it could hurt farmers in the United States. Obviously, Paula, China can retaliate. The question is, deep down, do they really want to?
Oh, they want to, and they will if they have to. I mean,
even though it could backfire and hurt them.
Absolutely. Look, the notice out of they know, I mean, they've been looking at Donald Trump's behavior over the last few months. They have been looking at what has happened to so-called allies like the European Union, Canada, Mexico. And in their statement right now, they're basically saying, we will fight this to the end, their words, not mine. The United States needs to cease and desist, their words, not mine. Here is the thing, and I've been reminded by this when you look at Mexico and Canada and the way they've been trying to handle those NAFTA negotiations. Any fight back will be political. So when you look at it, they are going to do what Mexico and Canada have threatened to do on their retaliation. They're going to hit red states. They're going to hit swing states. We've got midterms coming up in the United States, and then we go into 2020.
They want to hurt the Trump voters.
They will hurt the Trump voters.
And the most obvious place to retaliate is on agriculture, is on even, a lot of areas where voters went for Trump in 2016. So I think you're going to see voters not like, maybe they like the rhetoric on Trump's campaign trail. They may not like the consequences of his.
Who has more to lose than trade war between the U.S. and China?
China does, because it's exporting much more than we are exporting over there. But I think the argument from the Trump administration is that we're losing out so much on the intellectual property that's stolen.
Could rise, depending on, we haven't got details yet, but prices will rise for U.S. consumers. And if China retaliates, it would hurt U.S. farmers as well.
You could argue it'd be mutually assured destruction. But it would certainly hurt both sides. It really depends the size of the U.S. tariffs on these consumer goods like toys, shoes, clothing.
But that's when we really get down to why and how this matters. Look at what Boeing has been going through in the last few days as Trump even opens his mouth about this. It really has rattled the establishment,
a lot
the
of
manufacturing
establishment
China as well.
Really take down. There we go. There you go. You see at the bottom of the screen, 3M, Caterpillar, a lot of the companies that heavily are exposed to China really suffered.
And that's why, as Patrick says, this is what corporate America is trying to tell Donald Trump. They have said it in the Oval Office. They have told him 1,000,000 times. But what I like to say to people is, look, we're looking at this from 35,000 feet. You got to come down to my level at 5 feet. I'm a little bit more than that, but whatever. And the point is, Trump says it looks good at my height. He's like, you guys can talk to me all day long and you can circle on these trade policies, but I know when I'm at a rally in Pennsylvania, I know what they want to hear. And this is the fear.
At the end of the day, he still left the door open for negotiation, which means that he's not completely 100%
Paula and I were
committed.
just talking about this. It's important for people to think about this, that even though the Dow's down 700 points, there's a lot of fear right now. Trump today gave exemptions on other tariffs on steel and aluminum to several countries. In fact, the top 4 countries that send steel here to the United States are now exempted from those tariffs. So we've seen his biggest threats on NAFTA walked back. We've seen these steel and aluminum tariffs now somewhat toothless.
It makes you wonder if he's as committed to it as he says he is, or if it's just a negotiation tactic.
Well, but
As I mentioned in my last
and
guest.
then he can say that he looks brilliant. But remember, he got the photo op out of it, right? Those coal miners, those aluminum producers, those steel workers, they get to the White House, they get to sign. And when he goes back to, as I said, remember, 35,000 feet, let's get down to the campaign level. He's going to say, I signed that. Doesn't matter if I gave exemptions.
Because people, after all, vote on feeling. It's just the feeling that they're voting for. Okay, Paula Newton, Patrick Gillespie, thank you guys so much. Always